Joined by Coach Tucker. Coach, joining us today. Michigan State gets ready to play Maryland on Saturday night at 7:30. That game is in College Park, and it will be televised on the Big Ten Network. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. I appreciate it. Good afternoon. I hope everyone's staying safe, and we're getting ready for our head-to-head with Maryland. And after our last matchup was canceled due to COVID, so we're really looking forward to it. I talked to Locks and the past couple of weeks, and he wanted to play and we wanted to play, so we're excited that we're able to get this in. This +1 game gives us an opportunity to continue to build and and figure out how to play tough, relentless football for 4 quarters and 60 minutes in the game and finish strong. I want to, again, thank all of the state fans for all the support all season. Tomorrow is a big day for us for the program in this class, this 21 class. So we've all got a heck of a lot of work to do these last few hours. So just want to say thank you for hopping on today. As always, thank our medical staff. They've done a great job all year for us, just giving us a chance to practice and play, and they continue to do a great job as we prepare to travel to the East Coast this weekend. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Thanks, Coach. Our first question will go to Matt Charbonneau, the Detroit News.
Mel, I know Saturday you said you hadn't been told much from the Big Ten, but it sounds like this is a game you wanted. Did you guys have any input at all in that you would play Maryland? Or was it just by chance that this is the team you drew?
I'm not sure about the details, like the behind the scenes and how it was all worked out. I was just informed that we would play, and then I was informed later of later on that day of the time, and so I'm good. It didn't. I wasn't rooting to play anyone. It was just. I was looking forward to figuring out who it was going to be, so we could make sure we can get the film broken down and get the scouting reports ready to go.
And I know this obviously it's been a unique year the whole way, but having a game this week to prepare for, plus having signing day Wednesday, I guess just talk a little bit about the challenges of kind of putting this all together in this week, how that's different from most years trying to do both those things at the same time.
Yeah, we've had this before. I've had this before where I was standing in practice with a cell phone in my pocket. And that's just kind of how it is with this early signing period. So it's not a big deal. You just got to sleep fast and do what needs to be done.
Our next question will go to Stephen Brooks with 24/7 Sports.
Hey, Mel, hope you're well. Just wanted to clarify, when did you guys find out that it was Maryland? Hopefully, for your sake, it was earlier than the public release on like Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I found out sometime early on Sunday. I don't remember exactly when, the exact time, but it was timely enough. It wasn't like I was. It wasn't. I didn't feel like I was hanging for a long period of time. Just with a white knuckle situation, biting my nails, waiting to hear.
And then, as considering you guys went through till Thursday last time preparing to play them. Is this a situation where you can sort of dust off some of that old game plan and go back to it, or do you start from scratch? And obviously, look at what they've done recently. Is it sort of a blend of new and what you had a couple weeks ago? How much does that last, that November prep factor into this week?
Yeah, it's going to factor in a little bit, but we have to, obviously take into account, what they've done since then, and then that determines what type of changes we need to make in our game plan. It's kind of like playing a team, like if you're in the NFL and you play a team twice a year in your division, things change, personnel changes, and and you have to make adjustments.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Our next question is from Matt Wenzel with MLive.
Hey, Mel, Shakur declared for the draft last night. I was wondering what your thoughts are on that, one, and two, if he will be available to play on Saturday at Maryland.
Yeah, I like Shaq. I love the kid. You know, he's improved. He's made a lot of plays this year. I think he's got tremendous upside. I really enjoy working with him. I wish him all the best. I support all of the players. Year in and year out. Working with college guys when they're trying to make these decisions, I support them as much as I can and try to help them and help their families and be a resource for them. Obviously, I've taken recruited guys since they were sophomores in high school and coached them all the way into the top 10 and picks of the draft in the first round and I've been through 10 NFL drafts as a coach as well, and so I know all about the process and so I try to be as helpful as possible. And then I'll talk to Shaq today and see where he is in terms of playing the game. And then we'll just go from there.
And the quarterback situation, obviously been a weekly thing with Rocky out and Peyton getting his first start last week. I was wondering where you see that going this week.
Yeah, Peyton's going to start this week, and then hopefully Rocky will be available for us. We'll just have to see how the week goes with him.
Thanks, Mel.
Yep, you're welcome.
Our next question is from Lindsey Huddleston.
Hey, Mel, from a mental preparation standpoint, Saturday's game is being played at 7:30 at night. Is there a nuance in your preparation compared to getting up early and playing like at noon, like last week, compared to having an entire day and then playing late in the evening?
Yeah, you just have to change the meeting. The meeting schedules change a little bit more, but you don't want to over meet the guys and wear them out either, just because you have extra time. So but it's really just kind of when we arrive, and then how early we wake the guys up, the timing of the meals, and then when you do chapel and things like that changes, and just the meeting schedule changes a little bit, but you just have to be flexible. But we're all in the same location, and there's just a little bit more time to wait, and so we give them time to be off their feet, things like that. But we also we meet with them and do stuff that we would normally do before a game, special teams meeting, offensive and defensive meetings, individual meetings, and then a final walkthrough. And I'll always talk to the team at the hotel as well. So we just have to adjust the schedule a little bit. It's not a huge deal.
Okay, I got it. All right, thank you.
Yep. Especially it's not a huge deal, especially when you have an entire week to get ready.
Just quickly, do you manage some anticipation yourself? You have the desire to want to play early, but then you have to wait. How do you manage that part?
Yeah, I mean, I just stay neutral. I mean, even if I wanted to play early, I can't. So it's nothing I can do about it. It's like, you rather just get up and just get going, but you can't. So I've played, I've coached in so many late games. It's just you're just in that late game mode. It's you just gotta wait and be energy conservation is a big part of it.
I get it. That's helpful. Appreciate it, man.
Yep, you got it.
Our next question is from Chris Solari with the Detroit Free Press.
Hey, Mel, one, do you anticipate any other players skipping this game besides Shakur?
It could happen. You don't know. Every year at this time of year, I mean, these discussions, I mean, they start weeks ago, and so you just have to see how it goes throughout the week and things like that. It's a pretty normal occurrence that guys are making decisions what they think is in their best interest.
Has anybody told you yet at all that they made that decision?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some discussions, but the discussions I've had with those guys are really, they're just private discussions right now. It's not. I don't have anything. I don't have any news.
And can you update the status of Chris Jackson right now, where he's at?
Yeah, Chris hasn't been with the team, and I really don't anticipate him, being back with the team this season. And so, we'll assess everything with Chris, after the season when we're all wrapped up.
Our next question is from Nathan Stearns with Impact Sports.
Hi, Coach. Hope you're doing well. Last week, you talked a lot about having to fight for your guys in recruiting. One of your main targets, Audric Estime, gets offered by Notre Dame. How confident are you that he will remain at Michigan State, and what have you heard from him?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about recruits and things like that, individual guys. I'm not allowed to talk about guys until they're actually signed. So I can't make any comments about specific guys or things like that. I can tell you that in general, we do, recruiting is a competition. And competition is a lot about comparison. So it's very competitive. Recruiting is very competitive, and it's a daily process, and it never stops.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Next question is from Jim Comparoni with Spartan Magazine.
Hey, Mel, with the strangeness of the calendar this year, playing a game in mid-December, you're playing a game during finals week. This is the first time I can remember that ever being a situation with a football team ever. Basketball has to do with it. And there's always a mental strain that Izzo has to go through, and it's hard for him to keep his team to play at an A level at the end of the week. Have you ever been through this? I don't know if you've coached at a place that had quarters. I think Colorado might have had quarters, but if that made a difference. But how is that factoring into this week as another challenge? Do you know if Maryland has that this week or not?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Back when I coached in Columbus, we were on quarters. I'm not sure if they're still on quarters now. But you just have to make adjustments to the practice schedule. Sometime like today and Thursday, we're starting our meetings an hour later. We normally start a team meeting at 2:30. We'll start at 3:30. And then, we get with our academic support staff, and we have the schedules. We have the schedules for everyone's finals, and then we work around that. So if we have to move meetings or move practice or maybe even move something around in practice. Say, for instance, if a guy's got to leave early and we usually do 2 minutes at the end of practice, maybe we'll move 2 minutes up a little bit earlier in practice so he can at least get the 2 minute situation in before he's got to leave, things like that. And then if there's a tight connection, like at an airport or something like that, we'll try to make sure they got food ready for them that they can grab and go, and so that they can eat and make sure they can get to where they got to go on time. Because finals is important, and we got to make sure that these guys can finish strong academically. So we make accommodations from a football standpoint.
Also, we noticed more players on Saturday slipping and falling or slipping out of plays here and there more than usual.
Yeah.
Was there an adjustment there? In the old days, you could adjust cleats and so forth. And I know it's later in the year, so the grass might be different than what your intel tells you what might be on the road. What did you see a bigger problem than usual? And is it as adjustable as it used to be with shoes?
Yeah, it is. We did change some shoes. We did make some adjustments during the game and after pregame. Because they had guys sliding around. We had some guys sliding around, especially out there on the edges, around the numbers in certain parts of the field, and that that happens when you're playing on grass, and it just depends on the the condition of the field. And so you go out, when you go out in pregame and you're warming up, that's something that you should really, you're checking that out as you do your drills. And, and sometimes when you're on a field and you may have to change your shoes, you may have to go to a screw in instead of a molded cleat. And sometimes you just have to adjust your footwork. Sometimes you can't get acceleration on your first step. You might have to get on your second and third step. You got to make sure you keep your feet, within the framework of your shoulders. Keep your feet tight, at the break point, so that you don't slip. But that's part of the game, and equipment is a factor. And we talked about it before the game, and we talked about it after the game as well.
Okay, thank you.
Our next question is from Colton Pouncey with The Athletic.
Hey, Mel. I know we'll get a chance to talk more about recruiting tomorrow, but with the early signing period coming up, I was just kind of wondering, could you give a brief rundown of some of the traits you look for at certain positions when deciding to target a prospect?
Yeah, I'm looking for first and foremost, I'm looking for guys that love football. That just that love to practice, and like to watch football, like to talk about football, and it's just really important to them. That's the first thing I look for. We have, like you said, try to be brief, but we have an athletic evaluation on each player. And then we have a fit score on each player that we take a commitment from, and that we ultimately sign. And so the athletic evaluation, is based upon position, and it's, height, weight, speed, things like change of direction, balance of body control, contact balance, explosiveness, ability to get off blocks, finish on the ball, leaping ability, things like that. And each position has a set of criteria, and you evaluate them on those. It's different for a quarterback, obviously, than for maybe an offensive lineman or something like that. So we do that. And then we also have a fit score. And that fit score is more of the intangible things, the things that you can't necessarily see on tape. And those are questions that we're, asking the players, we're asking the coaches, or people that know the student athlete. It could be a counselor. And there's just intangible things, leadership, coachability, things like that. Injury history. There's some things we want to know that way. Other sports they played. Have they been a captain? How do they handle constructive criticism? Things like that. And then we give that a score as well. And then we take those two scores and we weigh them out. And then we just decide if this player is a good fit for our program and what we want to do here. And then that's pretty much kind of how we do it.
And those scores, is that something that you kind of developed over time on your own, or is that something you took from a previous stop that you were at?
Yeah, I mean, there's always the fit score we're using here is kind of a compilation of some things that I've done and some things that Jeff has done. And we all do it in different ways. I just like to do things more process driven, so that it's on paper and it's consistent. And it's because what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to it's more kind of like an NFL model. Like I said, I've been through 10 NFL drafts. You want to be able to, after a year or so, you want to be able to pull out those evaluations and look at and review them and see if they match up to what you're seeing on the field or off the field from the players. And so we know, what, we gather all that information, file it away. And then, you just got years and years and years and years of, just experience and evaluations and things like that. I just like to formalize it so everyone can be on the same page, and so we can follow it away, and so we can go back to it. Then we can adjust things and add things to it. When I was here before, there was a thing called the 10 tough questions. I'm taking you back to when I had hair, but it was a thing called the 10 tough questions. So I don't want to bore you guys, but since I got you on here, I might as well drag it out as long as I can. But so before you had these, right now, all of our stuff is digital, and so, I could just go on my phone and watch any player. I can go on the Surface Pro. I can watch any player. Before, we had them on these, when I was here, like we had them on these VHS tapes. Okay, so guys were on VHS, and some of them weren't even highlights because guys weren't even in the highlight business. There was no huddle. There was none of that, and so what you would do is you would take, and then Nick, Nick watch all the players, just like I do. I watch all the players. But back in the day, you didn't offer. You kind of had to wait until for permission to give an offer for a guy, So what we would do is you would watch and then there was a process. It would be the position coach, and then maybe the area coach, and the position coach and the coordinator would all look at them. And then it was a sheet of paper, and everyone had a sheet of paper, and you fill out the scores on it, and you flip it over. On the back was the 10 tough questions, which I think that he got maybe from Don James back in the day. And so, and on the 10 tough questions, things like, how does this, does this student athlete, does he play with pain? How does he do this? It's all these tough questions you have to ask. And so each coach would fill that out. And then what you would do is you would fold up that piece of paper. You would fold it up like this. You fold up like that. And you remember those VHS tapes, they would have the tape, and they would have a sleeve that it would slide into. And so you take this and you would slide it into the sleeve of the VHS tape. And so you would have about 4 of these in a sleeve, and they would all be lined up in front of Coach Saban's his spot by his chair where he watched the film, where he would watch recruits. And it was like that at LSU too, and also at Bama. So I can remember going in like at LSU, going in early and like taking one of my guys and sliding him up closer to see if I get him watched a little bit sooner, so we get him offered or not. Did he read it? He do an evaluation. He agree or disagree, and he say offer the guy or let's wait on the guy and that type of deal. And then then we had a board, and it was a similar type of deal. It's just a lot more digitized now, and you got virtual boards and all this type of stuff. But I still believe in you call it a fit score, the 10 tough questions, all that type of stuff. I believe in that because it's not just an athletic ability deal, and you see that at the combine. When the guys go in for the interviews, that's a big part of the evaluation. And then also when they go to those pre-draft visits, a team, they're allowed to bring in like 40 guys or whatever. I forget what the number is when guys come in and they bring them in. They're evaluating guys. When they pick them up, when they come off that plane, they land in that city. They come off that plane. They walk through. They're being evaluated at that point, even on that ride over, to the facility, they're being evaluated at that point, you know, and that's all that stuff. That's not athletic ability. That's all the other stuff, because it's about culture, it's about fit, you know, and things like that. And that's very important. You know, everyone is not for everyone. I mean, you got to get on the right bus. You got to get on the right seat on the bus, you know, to make it work. And like the combine, the combine initially was the biggest thing in the combine is the medical. Is the medical piece. That's the biggest thing in the combine. It's not the 40 or the vertical. I mean, the guys already know most of that stuff. It's your tape, you know, it's your tape, and then you got everybody goes through those physicals. You get the medical, and then those interviews, you know. And so we have to do the same thing. Like, we have to know medical history on a young man, you know, shoulders, knees, ankles, you know, what has he had, how many games did he miss because of it, how many practices has he missed, you know, is there a concussion history, you know, all those things that you need to know about a young man, because it's, you know, it's really it's an investment, right, on for the school, for the university, and for our team.
Hey, appreciate it.
Yeah.
We have time for just a couple more. We'll go to Audrey Dahlgren with WLNS.
Hi, Mel. Some good insight there. Thank you.
You're welcome. Please.
Wanted to touch upon Shakur just for a second. When did you have a feeling that maybe he was leaning towards leaving? And then, based upon your experience in the drafts, what about him will make him a good corner in the NFL if he gets that opportunity?
Yeah, I talked to him a couple of days ago. I mean, I talked to Shaq almost all the time, you know, quite a bit. And a lot of these guys, you know, I try to, you know, have a lot one-on-one discussions with them in my office or off to the side, you know, making sure that, you know, I have a pulse and, you know, on the team and what they're thinking about. And so, you know, we talked about it a couple of days ago. You know, he's got really good ball skills. He has good instincts. He's competitive. You know, he's not afraid, you know, to match up. You know, I think he's got good feet. You know, he's got good leaping ability. He can play left and right, and he can also play inside in the slot, which is hard to find guys to be able to do that. And I think he also has special teams value. He's not tall, like really long, but he's not small. And there's a difference. You know, he's built, you know, pretty well. And he's a willing tackler. He plays with toughness. You know, he's very intelligent. And he understands the game. And so, you know, I think that he could be an asset to a NFL team. I think he could have a nice career. You know, there's a process that takes place, and they haven't, as of yesterday, I don't believe it. They haven't really nailed down a date on when you have to declare, like officially declare, because of COVID, is what I was told yesterday. And so you go through the process. You typically fill out the paperwork with the NFL if you're an early guy, and it'll say, and usually once you turn it in, it usually takes about 2 weeks to get back, and then usually it'll be like 4 different deals. It'll say projected first round, projected second round, projected third round, or return to school is a recommendation that they use with their, they have a panel. I think they got some scouts and some veteran guys, and they use Bledsoe, and I forget the other service, and they look at the early guys and they give that back. And then there's also, then also what I do is I call around to all of my friends in the NFL and GMs, and and then I get, try to get a feel for what they think, where they have them, where they think they're going to go, and then I provide them the information and say, hey, this is what I'm getting from these teams, and then they make a decision. Sometimes guys decide to come out, and then sometimes they decide to, maybe that's not the best thing. They decide to come back. Maybe they say, hey, you know what, I wanted to get my degree or whatever. That's happened before. So, I leave the door open for guys if because there's a period of time in there where they can change their mind based on the information that they get. And so, I want to help them as much as I can make a good decision. And then once they make a decision, then help them with the process, even if it's, helping guys prepare for the interviews and things like that, or talking to teams for them, or telling them what to expect and things like that, or training or whatever, helping guys out as much as I can.
And could I just have one follow-up real quick? This is just about Maryland with Coach Loxley. You had some conversations you said with him. So what's his overall feel of just getting the opportunity for, essentially a round 2 to be able to play you guys? Where's his level of excitement, or what did he have to say about, being able to face you since you didn't get to?
I hadn't talked to Locks since we played Penn State. And so, I'll probably reach out to him sometime today. With this recruiting, with the signing day coming up, it's pretty hectic. But he's like me. He wants to play. He wants to. He's developing his team and trying to find out about his guys. He wants to compete, and he wants to have opportunity to win games and things like that, just like I do. And so, we're all for playing and competing. So I'll see if I can catch up with him later on today. I just got to check on him, see how he's doing as well. He's recovering from COVID, and they got a couple other coaches, maybe 1 or 2 more guys. And some of those guys, obviously like John Hope is a good friend of mine, their defense coordinator. I coached with him in Chicago, and so, I'm just checking with, I check in with those guys and make sure, see how they're doing personally. And then we, when the game starts, we're trying to rip each other's throats out. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Last question, we'll go to Rico Beard with 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit.
Hey, Coach, have you guys given any talk or discussion to the fact that if you're asked to play in a bowl game, is that something that your team would be open to doing?
If we were asked to play, I would love to play. I want to play. I want to practice. I want to compete. I want to get more practice time with our guys. Keep developing our guys. Seeing how far we can take this team and what this team can become before we turn the page to our offseason conditioning program and then leading up to spring ball and things like that. So I want to play as much as possible. I'm used to coaching a lot more football and used to playing a lot more games than this. And so, shoot, if we can get anything going, I love to play, man. If we can get something going, we can get a pickup game going unofficially somewhere. I'll do that. We need to play. We need to play football.
Also, Coach, real quick, you guys really did a number for Spartan fans, breaking out the Gruff helmets. You mentioned before that when you were going to play Maryland, you were going to have the script State. You guys going to follow up with that this week?
Yeah, I think we'll know more about that on Thursday is when that usually gets rolled out. But I'm open to doing some different things and be responsive to our fans. The most responsive thing we can do for our fans is win. So that's where my focus is right now, is preparing our team for this +1 game, and then recruiting like crazy to help improve our team. But obviously, whether it's uniforms or helmets and logos and things like that, that's part of the allure, part of college football. And what I do know is certain logos and certain logos and uniforms and things like that, they resonate with people in different ways, and they evoke emotions and memories of eras, and which is a good thing, because that's interest and passion in our team and for the university. So I mean, that's a I don't take that lightly, and so I know that there was like a groundswell of support for Gruffy, Sparty. I know that State, and I reference I use the word I reference Michigan State as State often, because I know that's a part of our history, and then so I'm into the Block S, when we honored the great George Perlis. That was special. I've always, being a Big Ten guy myself, and coming from Cleveland, always thought of, at my age, I always knew Michigan State as Block S. That's how I knew Michigan State. And so depending on your age and your era and when, how you grew up and all that, whether it's a Sparty or a Script State or a Block S or, what we have now with the most recently with the Spartan, the Spartan helmet logo that we have now, it just means different things to different people, and we're trying to find that sweet spot, so we can be as responsive to as many people as we possibly can, because we, all of our fans are important, all of our alumni. I think we all have over 550,000 living alumni. And then also wanted to give a shout out to our Spartan dogs out there. We had quite a few of our Spartan dogs the past week and a half have sent videos in to us, and we've showed those videos to our players. Like after practice, we go over to the board and watch videos, and they talk about what a Spartan dog is, and what playing in Michigan State meant to them, and how important it was. And we had guys that all from different eras, walk-ons, starters, NFL guys, all sending these videos in talking about what Michigan State and playing in Michigan State, what it meant to them, and what a Spartan dog is. Because I really believe that tradition is a big part of the culture of your program, and we're really trying to connect our current team, our current roster to the players that have paved the way before them. We're working hard to make that connection. I believe that's critically important. And so, history and tradition and things like that, it's just something that we're just constantly, looking to build upon and grow. And we want to have our Spartan Nation. We want to have it tight, cohesive, everyone moving in the same direction. Everyone knows, what our goals are, is to win championships and be in that championship conversation year in and year out. We want everyone to know that we're going to build our program. We're going to build it the right way. We want to build it with guys that first and foremost want to be at Michigan State. They want to get a degree from this great university, and have the ability to do that. They love football. They put a premium on toughness and competing and not a sense of entitlement. Prove yourself every day, have a chip on your shoulder, and always looking to improve, you know, sense of urgency, attention to detail, you know, respect, you know, hard work, roll your sleeves up, not a lot of French pastry, mostly meat and potatoes. You know, that's how we feel that Spartan Nation is. That's what being a Spartan is, a Spartan dog. And so we're trying to get everybody connected and moving in the same direction to build this thing. And everybody's going to be a part of it.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate your time. We know you're busy. We'll see you tomorrow for National Signing Day.
We will see you. We will see you tomorrow. I'll make sure that I'll have my Visine or Lumify or whatever ready to go before I get on with you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And we will see you soon. Go green.
Thanks, Mel.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Mel.
You got it.
Fire up the fax machines.
We'll have Jalen Nailor joining us here momentarily. Thanks for waiting. Jalen will be here in just a minute. And again, we'll tentatively plan for noon tomorrow for signing day. I will send an email out with a separate Zoom link just to confirm that later tonight. All right, we're joined by Jalen Nailor. Jalen, thanks for taking the time, especially during finals week with everything going on. Really appreciate it. And we'll take some questions in the chat, and we'll start with Chris Solari with the Detroit Free Press. Chris.
Hey, Jalen, I guess, what have you seen from Peyton in that game on Saturday. How is his demeanor maybe different as a starter versus a backup? And what do you feel the offense showed in that stretch in the second quarter in particular?
I mean, I don't think there's been a difference in Payne's like body language or anything like that from being a starter or not being a starter. I feel like he's always been the same, acted the same, and did the same actions. So I mean, it's not a surprise to me the way he played in the game. We just had to calm him down early on in the game and just get him playing right, playing fast. So that was good to see out of him. The second half, I mean, it was just executing, just not executing the game plan, executing our plays. I mean, we watched the film. We seen plays that we left out on the floor. So that's things we got to clean up as a whole offensive unit.
As kind of a double follow-up, I was asking more about when you guys were clicking in the second quarter, when you guys scored the 3 touchdowns. Yeah.
I mean, we just playing complimentary football, as Coach Tuck always praises. But I mean, it's just something that we know we're capable of. We see it in practice all the time. We can make plays. We can drive the ball. I mean, it's just a matter of time where we get things going and get things clicking.
And for you in particular, I mean, everybody talks so much about your speed. How much focus have you made on running those underneath routes and maybe making some catches on some of those 50-50 balls in the short and mid-range game?
Just trying to progress my game as a whole offensive player, as a whole receiver, just trying to be a complete receiver as I can. And that's something that Coach Hawk has been working with us, the whole receiving group, just to be as complete receiver as could be, running the ball, blocking, making passes, just trying to be that complete receiver.
Our next question will go to Matt Wenzel with M Live.
Hey, Jalen, we saw your potential obviously early when you got here, but your freshman season was interrupted by injuries, and then obviously last year getting one game and then not playing for a while. How much has just being able to stay in the lineup on a weekly basis, being out there every day, helped you just build confidence and just continue to improve, really?
I'm just blessed to be in this position, just to stay healthy this whole season, knowing that in the past it's been kind of rough to be healthy, but knowing I can be healthy this year, it just shows on the field like what I can do, what I can do on the field, and it's a great feeling just to be able to help the guys out, help the team out.
You've obviously shown the ability to get behind defenses. Is there anything you've noticed on how teams are matching up against you on a weekly basis, whether that was, we're just talking the second half last week or previously?
Yeah, I've been noticing they've been trying to limit the deep ball as much, so that's where the short and underneath stuff comes in, and I'm down working on just to improve, just knowing that'll open up space for the deep ball.
Thanks, Jalen.
Our next question is from Stephen Brooks with 24/7 Sports.
Hey, Jalen, just wanted to ask you, what part of what Peyton did last week in his first start stood out to you the most or impressed you the most? Which aspect of that you think do you really look back on?
Just his poise and composure through the whole game, knowing that we started off the game with an interception. But after that, I just really liked the way he played. He just played very confidently in himself and knowing and trusting the guys up front, trusting us as receivers to make plays for him, and that's what happened.
Could you walk us through actually that first play? We didn't talk to you after the Penn State game. You, I think, were the one that forced that fumble. I don't know if the ball was going to you. I can't even really remember, but just walk us through that first one if you could.
I mean, it was a broken pocket, so Peyton rolled out, tried to hit me. I should have kept coming to the ball, which I didn't do, but made up for it by going in, stripping the guy and making a play on the ball and helping us get the ball back. I mean, it's just effort and just wanting to be great and wanting to win.
Thanks, man.
Sure.
Our next question is from Matt Charbonneau with the Detroit News.
Jalen, do you think it helps you guys at all that you got several days into a Maryland prep here a few weeks ago? Does it give you a little bit of a head start this week and, for this week's prep at all?
I mean, yeah, since we already looked at them a little bit, so we could already get moving on practice probably a little faster and start playing faster as a whole offensive unit going into Tuesday, and just knowing what we can do and things we can work on in practice.
I want to ask you too about this time of year. We know Shakur Brown has said he's going to head to the NFL. I know a lot of guys are deciding what they want to do with their future. What's it like around the locker room and team right now when different guys are deciding these things right now and just trying to keep everybody on the same page? Is that tough right now, or do you like the togetherness of this team still?
Yeah, for sure. I still love the togetherness. We heard out yesterday, but I mean, the locker room still stayed as one unit. I mean, we have other guys that can play in those positions, so we trust each other, and we wish nothing but the best for Shakur.
Thanks, Jalen.
Yes, sir.
Our next question is from Elise Maneker with the Big Ten Network.
Hey, Jalen, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thanks. I wanted to ask about more with Peyton, like your connection with him and how you've been able to build that chemistry, considering you've probably been getting most, if not all of the reps really with Rocky up until this point. So just when he entered the game, I know he's played before in games, so it's starting, just how you were able to immediately have that connection with him for especially a couple of touchdowns.
I mean, it's not like I was just only getting reps with Rocky, but I mean, I got plenty of reps with Peyton as well, so I'm comfortable with both quarterbacks, and we both have the connection. I have the connection with Rocky the same way I do with Peyton. So as soon as we get on the same page with things, we talk things out, we see things on the field. I mean, it's not hard to talk to each other about certain things. So I mean, it's just a part of the game, just knowing our guys.
Is there anything in particular that you do, say with Peyton, maybe you do with Rocky too, but just like when Peyton's in, were you talking to him on the sidelines? Do you go to him more? Like, what's the communication like, even during the week of practice?
I'll just go to him if I'm seeing something on a certain play, and he might not see me, but I'll just go talk to him, be like, hey, this might be there another time we run in, depending on the coverage or whatnot. We just keep trying to improve and trying to find ways to keep the offense moving, get points on the board.
Thank you.
For a couple more, we'll go back to Chris Solar, the Detroit Free Press.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Trayvon and both his touchdown catch and some of those other plays to kind of maximize his size. What kind of a dynamic does he give to you guys, particularly you and Jaden, as more speed guys? I mean, what does that size do for the group as a whole?
I mean, he just gives that big physical stature, that big physicalness. As you guys seen with that touchdown, he could go up and go make plays on the ball. Couple defenders on him. He's that type of player, and I've seen him improve since he's been here so much, and I just love how much he's improved as a whole player. He's just trying to learn from me. I'm trying to teach him and still learn from him too. The stuff that he does well and stuff I do well. We just try and help each other out.
What about the other guys around you? I mean, it seems like the room is pretty deep with obviously Jaden and Trey coming back from injury. I guess, what have you seen from those guys and what's kind of the mindset of the room right now?
I mean, the mindset of the room is just trying to out physical and outwork the guy in front of us, the DBs or whoever it may be. Just trying to be the best unit on the field at all times, no matter who's in there. And that's what I like about our group, because we're so deep. We have guys that can play. Guys get plenty of reps with the ones and twos. We're just trying to get guys going, get the younger guys going, playing fast. I mean, it's a process. As coming as a young receiver and coming in with this pandemic and stuff, it was tough for us. I mean, I think we came a long way, and I can't see what holds for the future for us.
Thanks, man.
Our last question will go to Eli McCown of the State News.
Hey, Jalen. Sorry, my Zoom's acting a bit weird. Can't keep my camera on for whatever reason. But I just wanted to ask about exam week this week. You're prepping for a game. You have all these exams this week. How hard is that balancing the two? And then how are you going about preparing for both of them this week?
Well, for me, I'm pretty much done with all my finals and stuff. So I really just can focus on football this week. I know and have to worry about school and all, but I know in the past it's been rough. Because finals are important part of our grade, and there's a lot that goes into it, studying for it and doing all these study guides and stuff. I mean, you just got to find your balance for football and for school.
Appreciate it, Jalen.
Sure.
We have one more final question from Elise Menaker with the Big Ten Network.
Thanks, Vin. Sorry, Jalen, one more. I want to follow up on Trayvon, and just like you said that you guys are working together, that you learn from him, he learns from you. Can you be more specific on that and just exactly what that's like?
I mean, just every day in practice, just we play the same position, you know. He's watching me, and he comes to me certain plays, like, so if DB's playing this way, like, how would you like go attack him and this and that? And I'll tell him, you just got to have plans, and you got to be able to counter certain things. But I feel like my relationship with him is one of the highest in the room, knowing that what he went through last year, being hurt and stuff, and I know where he come from. Just helping him out, and he's been willing to learn every day.
Jalen, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. We'll see you Saturday in Maryland.
Yes, sir. No problem.
All right. Thanks for everyone for joining the call. I'll send out a final Zoom link later tonight for signing day tomorrow.